I retired in 2018, from the plantation. But I didn't retire from helping people.
No way, bro.
I didn't retire from my dean. I'm just getting started. And I'm honored and very appreciative that Brother Imam Rahman gave me a platform, to talk about some of the things that I think we can do to improve the quality of life in our community. And guess what? Guess whose responsibility that is? Ours. I'm following some heavy hitters. Dr. Muhammad Wali. I needed to have my notepad out with you guys. You guys wasn't playing. But yeah, I did write a book. I embraced Islam in like 1970, 69, 70. But I had an addiction problem, okay? And I struggled with that for many years. And I just want to say one thing, Muslims can have addiction problems.
Yes, sir.
Look, I don't care how much Arabic you speak in, and I'm none of that.
That's right.
I was in the middle listen, I relapsed in the middle of Ramadan. And it was, what was it, 70, 74, somewhere 100 years ago. The doctor prescribed some Robitussin, cough medicine. Now, why you want to give me some stuff like that? Somebody suggested, they said, they gave you Robitussin, they said, you can get high with that. I'm fast, I'm a Muslim. As soon as I got home, he done planted the seed. I went, instead of taking take the tablespoon, I took half the bottle. I'm like this. So one thing about addiction is cunning, baffling, and insidious. It don't care nothing about your religion. It don't care nothing about your mother. Don't care nothing about education. None of that.
Right.
Don't care nothing about how strong you is.
Right.
Talking about you gotta be strong, brother. No. I think I'm pretty strong, but that didn't stop me from using. Okay, so I don't want to get too much into that. I wrote down some bullets, so some things. I guess you want to know why I'm even talking about this thing called Milanti Islam. Milanti Islam. Am I saying it right, Doctor?
Yes, sir.
You said it right.
It's an approach to wellness.
There you go.
It's an approach to behavioral health. And I'm trying to broaden it a little bit because it's not just about addiction. Abstinence from drugs and alcohol does not equal recovery. I know people been clean 50 years, sick as a puppy. Yeah. Because if you stop using, you don't change your attitude. And I know people, and social acceptability don't equal recovery either.
There you go. I
don't care how many jobs you got. So you have to make some changes. And Milanti Islam follows the 12-step model. Okay, you have AA came first, then came NA, then a whole bunch of other AAs, and then came Milanti Islam, Islamic, for Muslims. And I was in the other fellowships, and it was working for me. It still does. I've been clean 30 some odd years.
Long way, bro.
I've been clean 30 some odd years after I got finished running in and out and tearing my behind. I mean, I finally got it, you know. So I came around in like 1987. So, I was in the 12-step program, and it taught us the therapeutic value of one recovering person to another. Yeah, talking about that safe place.
Yeah.
Being able to have somewhere that you could come and talk about it. I didn't want to talk about my mess. Y'all talked about me enough, little old dope fiend. Y'all talked, and it took me a long time to even admit that. It did. It took me a long time. I don't know about nobody else. But it took me a long time before I could actually, because I thought it was snitching on myself. I come from the cold, from the street. Don't tell. What I look like coming to them and tell, I robbed that guy on the street. And that's the way I looked at it. So I finally, some people talk about waving the flag, the surrender, the white flag.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. I had to hit bottom.
Mm.
I mean, my bottom was low.
Mm.
And I ain't going into detail. My bottom was very low. Get the book.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote about and it was painful to write that. But I think somebody might have needed to hear it. Because there's a lot of folks that was just like me, didn't want to talk about it. So, back to Malati Islamic. What is, and I'm gonna read this. I don't know why I keep thinking I can see when I know I need glasses. Dr. Muhammad, can you look in my coat right there, behind that chair? I have a zipper, an outside zipper on the top, not the bottom zipper, the top. I'm gonna try until you find it. Because it's important to know.
I just thought it was the light over you.
Huh?
When you try to read with the light over your head, sometimes you feel the same way.
Can you put that? Sure. Okay, cool. What is Malati Islami? Malati Islami is a fellowship of men and women joined together on the path of peace. Malati Islami means the path of peace. We share our experience, strength, and hope while recovering from our active addiction to mind and mood-altering substances. We look to Allah, God, to guide us on Malati Islami, the path of peace. While recovering, we strive to become rightly guided Muslims, submitting our wills to the will and service of Allah. We begin the submitting process through the practice of al-Islam, peaceful submission to the will of Allah in our daily lives. Islam tells us clearly that the status of man in this world is that of ABD, slave or servant. What does ABD?
No.
Huh? It just say ABD. Abs. Okay, slave or servant. We know that we must learn to be slaves and servants only to Allah, and not slaves to mind and mood-altering chemicals. we must also learn not to be slaves to people, places, things, and emotions. Allah tells us that man is Khalifa, agent or inheritor of the earth. This means that Allah has entrusted us as humans, beings with custodianship of His creation. Our own bodies, minds, and soul truly belong to Allah. They are only entrusted to us for a time. We are charged with the care while we have them in our possession. In the Quran it states, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is He who hath made you His agents, inheritor of the earth. He hath raised you in rank, some above others, that He may try you in the gifts He hath given you. For thy Lord is quick in punishment, yet He is indeed all forgiving, most merciful. We thank Allah for that. Well, 'cause